This is Daybreak and it's time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive and an analysis of them. We begin with our sister publication this day, leading with President Buhari may sign electoral bill today. 6 lawmakers' assurances to amend Clause 84. Ruling parties' governors meet tonight in Abuja ahead of meeting with President tomorrow. That's also been reported by our sister publication this morning. Other headlines on the front page. From $380 billion lost in 50 years, Nigeria's oil industry begins in-country annual retention of $8 billion. 50,000 jobs created since creation of NOGICD Act, says Wabote. Local oil firms now produce 60% of Nigeria's domestic gas. Queen Elizabeth tests positive for COVID-19. That's also on the front page. And airlines hike fares as aviation fuel rises to 420 naira per litre. You'll find this story as well on this day. Tinubu, no amount of intimidation can stop my 2023 presidential bid. Details of this and more, pick a copy of this day.
And in the Punch newspaper, convention APC battles consensus crisis as Buhari governors meet on Tuesday. Nigeria's lost 2,028 lives to air crashes in 53 years, and that's according to AIB. That's on page 34. Fuel scarcity, private depots hike rates, more filling stations may sell above 180 naira per litre. We won't leave APC, and that's according to Areba Shola's group. They're vowing to defeat Oyetol Adeoti. Strike ASU NEC converges on Abuja today to meet the federal government.
And in the Nation's newspaper this morning, governors meet today over new APC convention date, partly to set agenda for tomorrow's talks with President Buhari as congresses to hold in zones. More headlines in the Nation's newspaper. Queen Elizabeth tests positive for COVID-19. Also, why the International Monetary Fund won't channel $100 billion loan through AFDB by President. Also, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Silva, says inspection failure to blame for toxic petrol import. Above the nameplate of the Nations this morning, how Oyetola trounced Areba Shola's man as governor extends olive branch.
Well, let's go to the international papers now, starting with The Guardian. Let's lead in with the last-ditch talks to avoid a Russian invasion of Ukraine.
And this here is The Independent. PM scrapping COVID rules is moment of pride.
And for the press preview, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello, who joins us from our offside studio this morning. Emmanuel, good morning. Good to have you. We'll begin with this day newspaper.
Good morning.
Good morning. Leading with President Buhari in this electoral bill saga. It's season 6, episode 2023. He says he will assent the bill on one condition, that the National Assembly will amend a contentious clause, Clause 84, that bars political appointees from contesting or voting as delegates in any congresses or conventions. Now, Emmanuel, what are we going to see in this episode?
Well, it's a big political week, and the week is already starting. We're coming from a weekend of politics too, with the Osun primaries. So that is spilling over into the week. So it's a big political week, and all sorts of political events going on. Governance meeting tonight. The issue of the electoral bill itself, big political issues as we head towards the APC convention. So this is the week a whole lot of people waiting for, especially all eyes on the ruling party, what it does and what it does not do. But of course, the issue at hand, the issue of the electoral bill, the one that concerns all the other political parties, that concerns democracy itself, is starting the week, and this day is boldly starting with that. And today is the day, the D-Day, that the president will sign. Ordinarily, this shouldn't be a problem. This is not the document everyone wanted. We wanted a document that was going to free the space, the democratic space, with those direct, direct primaries that the governors thoroughly fought. And now this clause again too is one that some governors are not really very comfortable with. with the president saying if the National Assembly can do something about that clause, he's definitely going to sign it. The story, the reporters are saying that as at last night, there were no clear indications whether the members of the National Assembly will do that, but the clause is there. It's one also that a lot of people think has hampered democracy in the past, where governors have undue advantage with those their special advisors or political office holders going for primaries and actually swelling the numbers on the side of whoever the governor wants. So the National Assembly, it was a battle of wits between the National Assembly and the governors on the other hand, to whittle the undue power of governors, especially the issues of controlling delegates, the issue of directing or controlling what the primaries will look like. But the governors seem to be having their way all through. This clause was actually, for me, the last-ditch effort by the National Assembly to reduce that overwhelming power. But we'll rather have a document at all. It looks so now than not to have one at all, so that we can have those dates, those elections happened, to usher out this administration. So the president signing it today is going to be big news, I'm sure. We're keeping an eye on it, but the governors also meeting, APC governors in particular, meeting this evening. It's like I say, it's a big political week, and it's almost like the start in earnest of some of the transitions that we're going to be seeing around the country in elections, and of course the big one coming soon.
Indeed, we wait with bated breath to see what will happen as the president has returned from his latest foreign trip, and all eyes are on that electoral amendment bill. But Emmanuel Bello, something else that is gripping the nation at this time is the fuel scarcity. It doesn't seem to be abating, and now the national papers such as Punch is reporting that private depots are hiking their rates, and they may sell as high as 180 naira per litre.
Yeah, it's an ongoing problem. It started last week. There were talks that at the weekend, as we head into the weekend, last weekend and into this week, there will be some easing. But of course, you can see that's not happening. It's also even affecting aviation fuel already, with airlines thinking of hiking their price. So you don't have peace on the land, you don't have peace in the air, you have all these crises. And some people also see it again as yet another example or another sign of the failure of leadership at the top level, sector of the country. So these are some of the crises surrounding the crisis of fueling, with individuals, marketers becoming the main voice and the main people saying this. What happened to leadership? What happened to practically forcing those who are hiking, those who are holding these products, forcing them to release this, using some form of leadership, some form of control at the top to change the situation and reduce the suffering in the land. But of course, that's not what you see. Last week we had all sorts of promises. This week is so glaring that those promises have not been kept. The fuel stations are still very dry. Those long queues are still seen in our cities. And so it's a challenge to those who were making those promises to see what they can do to ease off all this crisis this week.
Emmanuel, in the southwestern Osun state, Adeboyega Oyetola has been declared the winner of the APC primary election. And did you see this coming?
Well, considering what Arebosola himself was saying last week, Kenneth, especially saying that Tinubu is playing God and all of that. Tinubu was going to put in all the works to ensure that he suffered some kind of, really, really humiliating defeat. And that was what happened on Saturday. Arebosola was defeated even in one of the words that he's one of his words. I mean, it was a thorough. He got a lashing from the Tinubu's camp of the APC. And now he's vying so strongly in the reports that he's not leaving the APC, but they're going to stay back and see that, there's going to be a payback. So these are signs of things to come. Even if we don't see it coming, it's just happened now. And it's telling you clearly, almost to some extent, painting the picture of what is going to happen in the future. But clearly, we're seeing yet again another example of how powerful these governors are. and where they want things done, it can be done. But Arebosola still vowing that, look, it's not lost yet. He rallied his supporters, comforted them, told them that it's not over, they should stay through. He actually alleged all sorts of irregularities in those elections, but saying that, look, they have to stay put and see how they can put up a fight. And we're waiting to see how he's able to actually ramp up his base and put up a fight. Yesterday, there were protests in Lagos against him. That must have also, again, contributed to whatever rift, the rift that is existing between him and his godfather, Tinubu. So we'll see how he's going to rally that base again and to see whether he's going to, for once, we're going to see the defeat of state power, of governor's power, and then the triumph of what looks like a popular will on the side of the minister.
Manuel, quickly, the Independent UK newspaper is reporting that part of the UK's government plan of living with COVID, they're scrapping requirements for self-isolation if one tests positive. A bold move for the Prime Minister?
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, it seems to be the UK is in a hurry to get to normal and to get. Of course, now we know the story that is emanating that the Queen herself tested positive. So there are people who are saying that, look, more science and more facts on the ground should drive all this, and not just a bold move by the Prime Minister, or to be seen as getting things right, or he's trying to get away from some of his own troubles. But whatever he's going to do around the issue of COVID must be driven by real fact, by science, and by what is on the ground, by what the experts are saying, and not just his whims and what he thinks. The Queen is tested positive already, to tell you that this is serious. COVID is still a reality in the UK, and so the Prime Minister needs to watch his moves and get all the support he is going to get from the experts, from science, from fact, from the conditions on the ground, and from all the other rules before he makes any kind of a move that would put the UK in more jeopardy. It's beyond what someone should do. It has to be a holistic thing that has to carry the science and the facts of COVID and the reality of this disease as policymakers try to take life back to norm and hurriedly make some political gain out of such decisions.
In the words of Professor Kintariwa, you cannot be more correct, Manuel Bello. Thank you so much for your review of the papers with us this morning. Much appreciated. We'll see you tomorrow.